even before the new century has been born. The premonition of the young artist tells him to review the past again. Juan Carlos del Valle is one of the artists who presses for a new renaissance. It is therefore necessary to reaffirm that the ultimate task of realism in all times and in any artistic discipline is not to imitate what is real, but to endow it with its own life. The early ability of an artist must not only be observed and admired, but needs subtle accompaniment, which places him in the appropriate surrounding, and which will allow him to both develop his abilities and construct a personal vision of his environment. How does it come about then, that now in the middle of a cultural whirlpool unlike any other before, Juan Carlos del Valle invents himself, executing the imagination of himself by a method as old as painting? Less than 100 years ago, José Ortega y Gasset clarified what Sandrart had said more than 250 years ago when he wrote, "Reality is the reality of the painting, not of what's being copied." Maybe all this reminds us of a manner of looking that we have recklessly forgotten. Unaware of the emanation the painter generates in each of his efforts to approach reality, establishing it on canvas as a parallel universe. It seems important to take a trip in time and jump to the end of the 20th century, where at the 1980 Venice Biennale, without explicit intention, a certain plastic memory was recovered. It was demonstrated that more than ever, painting is valid. It is valid as a spectrum that has seen nearly everything go by. Juan Carlos del Valle assumes his irreverent pictorial vocation. Just like all ancient trades, painting demands from its creator permanent commitment, where a new piece must be created all the time. Not as an individual painting divorced from the rest, but as a fragment of a feature film of himself. And if at some point we were allowed to piece it together, we would be allowed to read its singular emotional guideline, as well as the answer or the result of the search for himself. In this exquisite inquiry, Juan Carlos del Valle brings together a world that appears simple and yet is very complex, because the artist's dissatisfaction following a creative moment is a well-known fact. There is nothing illogical in a painter turning to flowers in order to perpetuate the color they possess, just as he appropriates their fleeting form. But what is he looking for when he represents dead nature? Could it be the inertia of the assembled objects that still allows them certain life? Or is he trying to represent the freezing of the agony that inhabits the decomposition of all objects? Ultimately, bread is but dead wheat, and a metallic object is not eternal. It is precisely this kind of approach by which a painter begins the pursuit of the impossible, and by doing so, delivers his best creative work.